Welcome back, everybody, to another edition here on sportsbet.io with you every single week with my man Lou Finicaro. My name is Chris Farley. You can follow me at FarleyBets on X. And you can follow Lou Finicaro at Gamblou. That's Gamblou on X. Or you can check out his other sports betting at gamblou.com. All right, Lou, we are at week 8, which used to be kind of the midpoint of the season. Now, not so much with 18 weeks in the season, but we're almost there. And I know for myself, Lou, I'm happy to declare on this show that I had my best week of the NFL season in week 7. I was 9-2 for plus 16 units. It was a big weekend for me, and quite frankly, a weekend that I needed, Lou, because it was a bit of a rocky start through the first few weeks. How did week 7 go for you?
Week 7 was also the best week that gamblou.com clients have experienced through the year. It's been a rugged start. We won week 1 and 2, and then it was really rough going and actually carried a little deficit into this week. And I told you guys 5-1 prior to going on the air. I'm just looking. We tried a middle on the Monday night game and couldn't get the back door. So 5-2 was how we went this week. I'm tickled with that. I'm disappointed that the Bucks were one of the 2 of the 5-2. As well, I'm disappointed it's one of the ones. It was the one we released here. That's 0-2 so far. We're not backing down. We have something later in the show that we'll give out, and then you guys can fade or consider.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, the bane of my existence this season in the NFL has been betting my own Giants. I thought they were going to be a lot friskier against the Eagles, but they were totally outclassed. And the Browns, of course. But, the Browns game that opened up with a kickoff return for a touchdown or a punt return, something like that. So probably a little bit of misfortune there. But here we are. We're going into week 8. And I know Lou has an official play on today's show. So looking forward to hearing that from you, Lou. We will also do, as always, our Gotta Hate Your Money segment of the week. But we'll get to Thursday Night Football first. It's the Minnesota Vikings who just experienced their first loss of the season against the Lions, going to L.A. to face the L.A. Rams on Thursday night. I don't know about you, Lou, but even in a loss, I was pretty impressed by the Vikings. I mean, I know that their defense allowed a lot of points, but that Detroit Lions offense right now is really humming. And they were hanging around in that game. They found a way to keep it close at the end. If you look at the box score, it's a very even matchup between the Vikings and Lions. So I'm thinking maybe we're going to see them again down the road. Maybe even in the playoffs. Of course, they're going to see them down the road again because they're in the same division. But maybe in the playoffs in the future. And as far as the Rams go, Lou, again, this is pretty simple high level box score analysis, which I do think is still a key part of handicapping. But
damn right it is.
Yeah. You look at the Rams, right? They're coming off a bye week, and they couldn't even reach 300 yards against the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders, Gardner Minshew came in and threw 3 interceptions, and they still kept it close against the Rams. So I really wasn't that impressed even in a win for the Rams. So for me, this is a light spread. I already have a play on the Vikings at -3. I think there's value there. And it's worth noting, so far, these favorites on Thursday night are 6-1 against the spread heading into this Thursday night matchup. So the favorites have taken it home. They're 7-0 straight up. So not that that's going to continue, but just something else to consider. Lou, what do you think about this one on Thursday night?
Well, we'll sharpen our swords here a little bit. Most of those favorites were home favorites. Minnesota does travel on a short week. Again, look ahead 3-46. Now it's 3-48. They think there's going to be a few more points scored in this game than what they originally thought. Why is that? Because the Rams get Cooper Kupp back, and I think you have to make a big deal of that. First of all, any win in the NFL is a win and a good win, and the Rams just got themselves a win. They're not lamenting who they beat last week in that locker room. They're congratulating everybody and entering this home game with advantage with momentum, in my opinion. Kupp changes everything, I believe. It makes that offense flow because they've been without Kupp and Nakua. And, yeah, the Minnesota #1 defense got exposed a little bit. But, boy, again, as you said, that's the best offensive line in football, and Detroit's built right. So no shame for Minnesota. I am interested in why that's gone up because I tend to think maybe the Ram defense shows a little and we get more of a defensive game in a short week. It's not divisions. But you're going to give me the Rams at home and I'm getting cut back and they're off a win. That's the only way I could go in this one would be home dog.
Home dog. Okay, so a little disagreement on this show, which we love here weekly on the primetime show. Got to have a little bit of disagreement. Hard for me to disagree with Lou. But you heard that at least in the spread. On the total, I agree with you. We got some movement in the number there, and I think it's gone a little too high at this point. We know 47 is a key number in totals. And that Vikings defense is going to be angry coming off that performance. And they better hope that Cooper Kupp can do a lot, right? Because Matthew Stafford doesn't have a lot of options. They couldn't get over 300 yards against the Raiders. So
well, they're saying he's 2 points. That's what that is. Yeah. So okay, we'll see.
Yep, we'll see coming off an injury. Should be an interesting one on Thursday night, as always. Okay, I already have my gotta hate your money or hate your money, whatever you want to call it, segment of the week. And it's a classic AFC West battle, or at least it used to be a classic AFC West battle. But I think we could get a similar vibe here, Lou, because the Las Vegas Raiders are 10-point home underdogs to the Kansas City Chiefs, who, again, were very impressive coming off the bye. I mean, Patrick Mahomes leads the NFL in interceptions, but he's also probably still the best player in the NFL. He makes it happen. They just win games. Their defense steps up. And Vegas, as much of a mess as it is over there in Vegas, Lou, they could play some defense, and for Vegas, this is their Super Bowl, right? The Chiefs are coming to town to an arena where they've been embarrassed by the Chiefs many times in the past. Everyone's questioning Antonio Pierce and whether he has any merit to be an NFL coach. But as long as he's not losing that locker room, I don't know. I'm inclined to want to bet on the Raiders despite all rationality here, Lou. So that's my hate your money take anyway. What do you got on this one, Chiefs and Raiders?
Well, this opened 10-43. And when I say open, that means a week ago in the look-ahead line that I track. From that perspective, 10-43, now 10-41.5. So maybe a few less points. And that isn't based on the fact that the Raiders looked sluggish last week. It's partially based on that. It's also based on the fact that Kansas City's just kind of getting it done right now. They're kind of walking through the halls and bumping into a few things, but they're winning. And in my opinion, you picked a perfect game, but it's a perfect game not because you got to hate your money, because you got to love your money in this one. And by that I mean you're getting a division dog. These two teams played back when I was a kid, in Kansas City won Super Bowl II. That AFC Championship game, they throw a pass, Lenny Dawson's running down the field. He gets tackled about 3 seconds after he's on the ground. Ben Davidson, this huge defensive end for the Raiders, spears him right in the kidney. And as soon as that happens, Otis Taylor, the wide receiver for the Chiefs, gets to Ben Davidson. A melee follows. The Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. But my point is, these teams have been playing and hating each other for years. And we only have to go to last year in the fall. How did I get my Kansas City Chief under 10.5 wins? I got it because the Raiders went there on a Monday night when no one thought they could, with this same group, same coach, and beat that rear end, for lack of a better word. This is a great opportunity. Las Vegas in 10, you ought to be thanking the bookmakers for this, because the public's not going to see what we just talked about. But this is Raiders or pass, and I think they're in a really good position.
Yeah, I love that play on words. You got to love your money for this one, maybe. And as much as Gardner Minshew can play really, he's a volatile player, right? I think he still gives them a better chance to at least stay.
I like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fighter, right? He's gonna keep fighting out there. So, Max Crosby and those boys are going to bring it on that side. Listen, I mean, they kept the Rams to under 300 yards last week. Not that that's, the Rams are injured, but there's at least some potential for that defense here in this matchup. In Kansas City, as good as they've been, of course, the ball is bouncing their way a little bit too. So maybe some luck regression here in this game against a divisional opponent. All right, let's move on.
This is Kansas City's second road game in a row, by the way. So That doesn't hurt.
That doesn't hurt. Let's move on to the Sunday night football game. We got the Dallas Cowboys again coming off a bye. San Francisco cannot get a break in their schedule. This one opened at 7. That is, the San Francisco 49ers are 7-point favorites a week ago, at least according to what I'm looking at, Lou. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And the total is around 47 and a half for what I'm seeing as well. For me, this is one of two thoughts. It's the 49ers are beaten up. Now they got Brandon Ayuk out for the season. I mean, George Kittle had pneumonia last week. Now he has a foot sprain. They're very banged up, right? And they're not getting a break in their schedule at all. They're getting teams off buys, tough road schedule, and we're seeing the result, right? They're 3-4, Lou, and it hasn't been easy sledding for the NFC Championships last year. At the same time, this is the matchup they like. I mean, the last 3 games against Dallas, they've controlled those games. They beat Dallas by 32 points at home last year. And this is not the same Cowboys team. And a Cowboys team who they're not sure if they're going to get Micah Parsons back, which he's the biggest piece for that defense. And the defense has not looked good at all. So for me, I kind of want to look the other way. I want to look at San Francisco, who's feeling very desperate, right? Who still has a championship caliber program there and coaching and staff, and Brock Purdy, who has a lot of success against Dallas. Talk me off the 49ers, Lou, because I think I really like them heading into Sunday.
I mean, a lot of what you say makes sense. Again, I'll look at it. And again, when I say these look-ahead lines, I am going to the Westgate Las Vegas, who comes out on Tuesday at noon. So just about right now, when we get off this pod, I'll go get those numbers. You track the openers. At that point in time, this was San Fran 6 and giving 50. Now it's 4.5 and 47 because the Niners are beat up and you covered everything there. Now, this is not a division game. That said, might as well be. These two have been playing in NFC championship games for decades, and there's hatred. There's real hatred here. You're right. San Fran, our Gamblu.com 2-unit release this year on totals was San Fran under the 11.5 for this exact reason. 22 net rest days disadvantage this year, 20 last year. They played in a Super Bowl. They're getting dinged up. No surprise here. That said, they are dinged up, and Dallas is coming in off a bye. They're the desperate team, in my opinion, in a what I'll consider division game. I know they're not in the same division. They'll play it as such. What sticks out here is the balance of San Francisco, 7th-ranked D, and Dallas just has nothing. And so I agree with this move to the under here. I think that it's logical, 50-47. And so while I agree with that, I want to take advantage of it. But it's a shame that I can't get that 50, so I'll do it one better. I'm going to tease that total from 47 to 53. I'm going to use a 6-point teaser. Something now, every tip of the iceberg, sharp NFL prognosticator, wise guy will tell you you never do this, okay? And I'm telling you, Bafangul on that. The tool's there for me to use, and it matters if I win or lose. And so I'm going to use the San Fran Dallas under 53, and that has to be tied to another game that we'll talk about here next.
Okay, I love it. So we got a teaser incoming into the Monday Night Football game. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know all the data behind that, Lou, right, to where these prognosticators say what you're saying, but that is something that I've always heard, right? You don't tease totals. And is that just because of the volatility in totals? Like, is that the position they're taking? Yeah.
Yes, but and we'll learn when we get to the winter months. You're going to hear a lot more teas and totals from me, and we'll get into it then. I don't want to, unpeel something that we're going to talk about in time, but you got to pick your spots. And again, who's betting from this line from 50 to 47 that takes pretty decent money? We're talking Tuesday. It happened. The numbers come out Sunday. It happened Monday. Who's doing that? That ain't John Q. Public. It ain't.
That's right. Yeah, it's never John Q. Public when it's that early anyway, right? They come in on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mostly on Saturday, Sunday, as the weekend approaches. Okay, moving on to our final game that we'll discuss. Again, you can check us out every week here at sportsbed.io. Me and Lou Finicaro talking about a few NFL games, mainly the primetime and the Hate Your Money game of the week as well, which we already talked about between the Chiefs and Raiders. Okay, Lou, I got to talk about my Giants again. I guess I do. Man, I thought the Giants would just at least show up and be competitive last week, and then it didn't turn out to be the case. And as a fan, I'm actually usually leaning very negatively about my Giants, a very critical eye. It's not like I'm always thinking that they're fantastic when I know that it's anything but. Now they got to go into Pittsburgh and face the Pittsburgh Steelers. This line opened up at Steelers -4. It is up to -6.5 after, I guess, what odds makers and now big money perceives as a very good performance on Monday or on Sunday Night Football, against the Jets when they pulled ahead and I think scored something like 25 unanswered points or something like that to dominate the Jets. So, Lou, I just don't have a lot of trust in my Giants. Probably going to stay away from this one. Maybe I'll try to work the Steelers into a teaser or something like that. But the Giants right now, a few weeks ago, they looked like a team that maybe there's a glimmer of hope in the future of this program, right? They went up to Seattle and they beat the Seahawks. I'm feeling a little more optimistic about them at that point too. But then they come back down to earth and do the same thing they always do, which is get their asses beat by the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they match up well, Lou. I don't like Daniel Jones against this defense. And Russell Wilson looked pretty good, and Pittsburgh gets to stay at home, right? So this is a predictably low total at 36.5. What do you got here, Lou, on the Giants and Steelers?
Few people can talk themselves into and out of a team as well as any fan of any team. Fortunately for me, I've been doing this so long that I'm a pure mercenary. For the right money, I'll go and carry a spear in anyone's army. That's simply what I do. And if one day I'm throwing the spear at the green shirts, that's no problem. The next day I could be wearing a green shirt, throwing it at the yellow shirts. It just comes down to profit, bottom line. There is no fandom. My son loves New Orleans and LSU. When New Orleans had that miracle catch 5-7 years ago with Minnesota to take them out of the play, he's still complaining about that, man.
Yeah.
My point is, eventually, Chris, you'll wash the fandom away. But you broke it down great. This is a really interesting game, and it's interesting for the reasons that you say. That the Giants are better than they seemed way better than they were last year because they're balanced. Do you believe that as well? Because you took them last week, laid an egg. Okay, this is the NFL. That happens to every single team. Now they bounce back, get Pittsburgh, but I think they're coming into a dynamic here that is beyond their control to some degree. And the dynamic is Tomlin, and the dynamic is Russell Wilson. And Tomlin was with Wilson. And last week they had to hear it from every Tom, Dick, and Harry from every mountaintop that Tomlin, the guy that's been there for decades, don't know what he's doing because he's putting the wrong quarterback in, from every single person that is not a GM of an NFL team, just some fan, okay? And it wasn't me, because I was the guy saying you got to believe Tomlin knows what he's doing. He's not out there to sabotage his own team. Come on now. That we just went a long way in saying this is blowout city, baby. I believe in the line change. The look ahead a week ago was 4.5. Now it's Pittsburgh 6.5. This is the Russell Wilson welcome come out party, and Tomlin takes Pittsburgh, throws 40 burger up on this team, and exemplifies the fact to his team in the NFL that they got a team that's going somewhere, and this kid's a kid that's going to take them there. So you heard it here first.
I love it. So that's the second leg of your teaser?
Yeah, we're going to take Pittsburgh simply down to -0.5 and take them on the money line. So let's do the San Francisco-Dallas under 53 to Pittsburgh -0.5 a point at home on Monday night. And that's as good as I can do. And hopefully we'll come back. We're 1-2 next week. If not, they give a guy 3 balls and 2 strikes. I'm only on 3. So I got a bat in my hand, holding it loose, and I'm ready to line a triple somewhere.
Yeah, usually I'm pretty sharp at betting against my Giants because that's been very profitable for the past few years. And there's a little inkling in me entering this week, like, oh, maybe this is the spot. A little too much inflation on the Steelers side. Needless to say, I'm probably going to stay away from this game. But I love that you're going in this direction, Lou, because that's the only direction actually that I think I would go. This is a really difficult spot for the Giants. Really tough defense that they're playing against, and right now if it's not Malik Neighbors catching every ball, it's like I don't think this offense can do very much. So at Pittsburgh kind of rolling right now, feeling good about themselves. No disagreement from me here on
Going
that
on
one.
going on a bye next week, and meanwhile the Giants got Washington, a division game. Not
Who
that they're
they
looking ahead, but they know that.
Right, who they already lost to too, right? Who they don't lose to very often the past few seasons, so they're probably looking to get that one back. So Lou is on that teaser. Dallas and San Francisco teased up to 53.5 under that, and then the Steelers straight up. For me, I don't know if I gave away an official play on this show. Well, I guess I did. I chose the I'm betting on the Minnesota Vikings in Thursday Night Football -3, following those favorites. I don't think it's necessarily going to be easy sledding, but I do think the Vikings pull away with a much better defense, and I do not trust that Rams defense.
Good luck with that. We'll try and bring you in.
Yeah, hopefully.
But no, just because I have a varying opinion doesn't mean I'm not going to hate on your side. I don't play that way. At the end of the day, the scoreboard's going to tell us what we both need to know, and since there's no interest on my part, I just soon pull you in.
And most of us lose at 45% anyway, right? So we're used to losing. One of us is going to lose in that one.
Those people in the contest lose sometimes at 28%. That's why I don't join the contest.
Yeah. I mean, the year that I did well was fortunate in many regards, that's for sure. All right, well, another week here with my man Lou Finicaro. Again, follow him at Gamblu on X and check out gamblu.com for everything he does in the betting world. My name is Chris Farley. I'm at Farley Bets. Until next week, good luck with all your bets this weekend, everybody, including on Thursday. Don't bet too much on those Thursday games. They could be crazy. Until next week, we'll see you here at sportsbet.io again for week 9. See you later.